This is, and you're sharing with her, her first solo exhibition. One of the things we always ask artists, particularly those who are doing their first solo exhibition here, don't forget us. When you're famous and you moved on up and we see you on the cover of New York Times Magazine or whatever, and you say, we want to thank all of the people that helped us along the way, not so much out of interest in being part of the story, but our curator who's here, whom I'm sure you're going to speak about, had help from individuals on the Stone Center staff who are very young people themselves.
Yes.
So understanding that they were part of something like this, I think, is important for them. So will Selena and Dawn raise your hand? This is, if you want to see who helped install this exhibition.
So come on up, come on up, come on up.
And also for logistics and support is Saskia on staff. Saskia Stapel, who's there. If you wave your hand once again. And as always, we have Sharif on the ones and twos over here, holding it down for us. So thank you all for coming out. I'm going to move over and let you all have a moment or two or three.
Do you want to speak?
Come on.
Okay. Hi, it's really amazing to have all of you here, especially amazing to have little people here. I love them. I am humbled and amazingly grateful to the people that helped me, to Arturo for helping me be calm and see and guide me through this process. And I'm just really happy for all my friends and family that are here, that have come a long way, or sometimes maybe just around the corner. Thank you so much. It's just humbling. I've been working on the Gri Gris series. They started out just dolls, and initially when I started, it was I think 2015. My son was still in high school, and he's here. My son is still in high school, and I know his friends would come over sometimes and wonder what was going on in our house, because I have about 20 of these at home. But bit by bit, I would go to thrift stores and find white dolls, and I would pick those, and I would change them and transform them. I left the brown and black dolls for children that might come, because they were always few and far between. So I started changing the dolls, and then the dolls started changing me. It sounds crazy, and maybe it is a little bit, but there was a communication between us, or at least when I would work on the dolls and other artwork, I felt most at peace and the most centered. So the Gri Gris Gurlz are dolls. They each have a story. They each have a superpower. And the basic story is that they are running away from the work camps or concentration camps that some people call plantations. And they are running to a maroon society so they can gain their own autonomy. And these superpowers that they have, some of them can move the earth, some of them can see 6 minutes into the future. And each one has a role to play. As we look at what's happening around us in this country and around the world, the future that I think many of our ancestors hoped would be arriving much sooner than now seems to be falling apart everywhere we look. And so it may just be a story, but when I was growing up, my mother shared many stories with me that helped change and shape the way I thought about the world around me and the way I saw myself in the world. That I did belong, that it was okay, and that I was enough, and that I was pretty. And that was the important things with these dolls. I think going through them and changing them to see something different and find a different beauty that is not manufactured one after the other after the other. And so these dolls have been charged with the story to change the future of the future. And the idea is they will time travel, and through short stories, and maybe, oh, if I say it out loud, it might be true, maybe a book. And I want to work on films, and I want them to work for kids from 2 to 92, because you're in there, you're in that group. Because when you're 92, you still feel young inside. So that is one of the goals. Like this part of the work is finished, but none of the work is ever really finished. And so I'm really excited about where the dolls will take me next and where I will take them. And I literally do take them places. And I had one person stop me on the side of the road because I take them places and photograph them. And I was wearing a long dress, and I think I had purple hair, and I looked, and I was holding a doll, and I was on the side of the road where they were clear cutting a forest. And a couple stopped in their truck, and they're like, "Are you all right? Do you need help?" And I was like, "I do, but not the kind you think." I was like, I'm just, saying you're an artist sort of gets you out of a lot of trouble. You get to wear whatever you want. People leave you alone. I said, if you give me cash, it will be good. They did not, but it has been an interesting journey, and I am grateful for every moment, every high and every low. And that's it. So if you have any questions, I am wide open. I know little people like to ask questions. If you have a question, I'm ready. Yes?
Like, how long would it take you to do one of these?
I will say this. There was, for a long time in my life, I've been a teacher, and I've done a lot of things, and there are a lot of kinds of work that I don't like doing. When I sit down to work on these dolls, time goes away. So I might sit for 3 hours, 7 hours, 14 hours, and I look up and I see that how far I've gone. And I usually do more than one at a time. So while I'm spray painting one or finding hair for another, then I'll go to the thrift store and find more. So I think on average, there is no average, because it depends on the doll and what I think should come next. Some come much more quickly than others, and then some I have to paint over and over and over again. But I would say if given a studio and my druthers were, this was my work full time, I'd probably get a doll done by $1 a week, I think. Because I get so engrossed in it. It's as I say, art is really good medicine, and it's really good medicine for me. So maybe a week. Yes, and then you.
When did your passion for art start?
Well, I only can tell you what my mother told me. And when we were just moving to the DC area, and I was about 4, I was told I was not allowed to draw on the walls. What a ridiculous idea. So I didn't. I was also a very obedient girl when I was little. Not so much now, but I was. When we moved out of that place, there was a housing shortage, and we finally found a home, and we moved out of that place, and my mother took my things out of the closet, and apparently I had drawn all inside the closet. So I would love to subvert what the rules were, apparently even then. And I remember as a kid drawing, and I had a briefcase full of drawings. I loved arts and crafts, but I didn't put any of that together, that meant it was something that I could do for a living or something I could do and show anybody. That didn't occur to me until I was, yesterday. I mean, I did go to graduate school. I'm in graduate school now because I thought, well, my son is grown and I'm in my 50s. I better do something for me. And maybe that's when it occurred to me that maybe some of this stuff might make it outside of my house. But it was definitely a river my entire life, one that was absolutely fostered by my family. So I was very lucky. I was very lucky. Did you have a question?
Yeah. Did you photograph those photos on the wall?
So yes, so actually this was a photograph that my friend took of herself. She took a selfie, and I said, do you mind if I just play with that? And I was lucky. We went to college together, and she is an amazing person. Her name is Erica Brown, and her parents were amazing people. They were in the Black Panther Party. Her mother was head of the Black Panther Party for a little while. And what I do is I sometimes take the photographs, I take them, and then sometimes people will have them for me, or I'll ask if I can use them. And then I layer paintings and other things that I've done over them and over them and over them. And then I get to a place where I think I'm finished. So some of these I have taken, like that one over there, where the person looks like she's praying. It started off as a selfie. It's a picture of me. So some of them start off as pictures at the beach, pictures of paintings, and then I just sort of layer them over and over again. Sometimes there's paint on the print. Sometimes some of these paintings have other paintings hidden under them, like whole other paintings. So I think the best thing about art is that I've learned is there are no rules. I mean, there are some rules. There's some ways and things to talk about, but I can just sort of explode all over the place. So sometimes they're photographs, sometimes I cut up little pieces of paper, sometimes I cut up books, sometimes I have student papers because I teach 6th graders, sometimes their stuff is in my work. There's a piece of my son over there called The Blessed One. One of the backgrounds is a drawing that he did when he was about 7. So I steal from everybody because, as they say, a good teacher always likes to steal and we share. So I do borrow from everywhere and every place that I can.
Then I have a follow-up question. What advice would you give a 6th grader who is interested in art?
I would don't throw anything away. This sounds, it's good advice, but maybe not good housekeeping. Save your stuff. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. Try things you've never tried before, even if you're scared you're going to do them wrong, because we're all going to do stuff wrong. Keep going. And when you save all that stuff, and especially if you write down things and ideas, when you get older, you have a beautiful roadmap of who you are, where you've been, and sometimes it tells you where you're going. So just remember to save it and just set yourself free, Just do whatever you feel called to do on the paper or with clay or moving around. Everything can be art if you want it to be. And then have your mother buy you lots of art supplies.
So that advice that you just gave, I'm sorry for just.
No.
Was that the manifestation behind the book in the case? Because I noticed it looked like it's a picture of you when you were younger and different notes that you may have written to yourself. Was that things that you have collected over?
So the journal started out as just a regular journal, and I started writing when I was in 7th grade, and one of my friends is here from middle school, Nikki, thank you. And so it started out as a journal, and then it was, somebody asked what was in it, and I showed them, they were like, that's interesting, and I was like, is it? And they said they thought so, and so I made it part of the Gri Gris story. So it's partly my story, stories of the dolls, what they have to do, and it does have things from when I was a child in it up until it was in that box. And I just kept adding and adding. I can't even close it now, but I just kept adding things. So sometimes there are pictures, sometimes there are photographs of somebody from the 1700s in there, sometimes they're history stories, true stories, sometimes it's fiction and bits and pieces in there. So that's sort of going to be the guide for the dolls to show them how to change the future that we are currently suffering in.
So will each doll have its own book?
That I do not know. Right now, the book is for all, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good challenge also. I like it. Of course. So if there aren't any more questions, I say we party, talk to each other, hang out. I do want to say thank you to my living Gri Gris dolls, Mo and Jenna. I don't know where Jenna is. Oh, so friends and also artists and amazing sound engineer that's helped me with the film. He did the sound with me. And Jenna has been an amazing supporter forever and said that she would come down and let me paint on her face. So, and I want to thank everybody that worked to help make this happen. And Arturo, you were one of those. I was so excited to be able to work with this person. And I couldn't believe that it was going to happen because he is a rock star, like a total, complete, and absolute rock star. And when they said I was going to be working with him, well, I freaked out. But he's been a very good teacher. and I thank you. I am so grateful to you.
Well, you're very, very welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's jump around a little bit.